Hey there. Thank you so much for joining me today on the marketing stream. I'm Vicki O'Neill, your Plateau to Grow marketer. And today I have a guest. Just kidding. He's usually not up here, but he fell asleep and I decided just to leave him there. So it doesn't look like he's leaving anytime soon. Today I'm going to review step number 6 in the 6-step process to creating content for the customer journey. The first 5, which some of them you may be familiar with, the know, like, and trust factor. So I'm matching the content creation process to those 3 steps, but then adding on a couple more, actually a few more. One at the beginning called define. So knowing who your target audience is and defining who they are through the persona creation process. And then going through the know, like, trust process before they buy from you. And then, hey, April, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you being here. I had to skip out on Pat's last 15 minutes, so I'll have to go back and watch the rest of that. So thank you so much for being here. And then today is going to be the last step, which a lot of companies tend to either forget about or don't really connect the dots between the customer journey, the marketing and sales process, and after they actually acquire a customer. And that part is so important because it costs a lot more to acquire a new customer than it does to retain an existing customer. So having a customer retention strategy in place is extremely important to the overall growth, vitality, and long-term viability of your customers. So that's what I'm going to focus on today. What I was doing this morning and realized right before getting up here, when I had the view in the camera, is that the whiteboard I was using was not really easy to see in here. And starting next week, I'm going to start using StreamYard, so I can start using my computer and start doing some other features that make it easier to share information with you guys. And hopefully will be more helpful that way. So I'm not going to be able to show it this way because I do have an example of how to calculate your customer retention rate. So what I'm going to do is I'll create a document and put a link in the notes of this episode after we're done. The document's not created yet, but I will get it out there sometime today. So what I'm going to review is I do have a document that you can download. I think the link's in this one as well. If it's not, then I will put it out there. But this is a part of the 6 steps to creating content guide that I've created and made downloadable for anyone who's interested. And what it is kind of walking through each of the steps. I give a B2B example, an actual, what the key takeaways are, and then there's a workbook page for each step as well. So just something to kind of help you along with that process and understanding what you need to do and just giving you something to help walk along the steps with me when I go live. And obviously it's something that you can use moving forward. So at any time that you're watching this, if you're watching the replay, it's available for you there as well. So retain or retention, why this is important, like I mentioned, is that it's so important to just retain your customers. If you're just starting out, obviously it's going to take some time to build a customer base. But keep in mind that as you go through the marketing and sales process that you're probably most familiar with in your business or just what you hear people talking about, that for your buyers, it's more of a journey. So creating a good experience for them along the different customer touch points and understanding what their needs are. What are the emotional triggers? How do you engage with them? How do you keep the conversation going? How do you differentiate yourself over other brands? And all of that due diligence up front in that process is going to help you not only convert them to a customer, but it's also going to help them stay with you and increase your customer retention rate, which is the ultimate goal. You want to grow and you also want to help your customers grow. And consistency, more so on their end, is going to be better for their business as well. So some of the things that you'll want to do in the retention process, I do review here. This is more focused on the type of content or different initiatives that you can take part in order to help the retention process. So when you think of a product that you've purchased, even if it was on Amazon, where it's a really quick process, you're doing business on Amazon, probably because the experience that you had going through it was very easy to find information. You had a great checkout process. The delivery was painless, and what you got was exactly what you had bought for the most part, right? So when you think of that experience and apply it to your business, is that happening in your business as well? Are you making it easy for them to buy from you? Once they are on board with your brand and they're doing business with you, a lot of companies, even if you look at some of the different sales models that are out there, like the AIDA, the AIDA, if you look at that, which is awareness, interest, desire, and action, even that last step in that model is action, which is buy. And it doesn't continue the process. And it's so important to just streamline that process and just make it contiguous so that once someone purchases from you, they then are going to continue to want to buy from you. You want them to be repeat buyers. The higher your customer retention rate is and the longer you keep customers, the more profitable your business is and the better ROI. It just makes sense. So that's important to do. So your retention strategy, which I'm not going to we're not going to go through a customer retention strategy today, but just some things to think about that you can implement in your business, whether it's creating an email campaign, communicating with your customers on a regular basis. It's important to set the expectations. So once someone buys from you and you've gone through either your onboarding process or you've delivered the products to them, then you want to, hey, Just Samson, thanks so much for joining me today too. I appreciate you being here. Thanks. So once you go through that process and just understanding, what the expectations are, that you're communicating that to them so that they know what they can expect from you and your company moving forward. Now, they've already done that time investment and they've purchased from you. So you definitely don't want that to stop there. You want to continue that process. So whatever your teams were doing up front, your customer success teams or your customer service teams will also need to continue doing that as well. So if there's a baton handoff or if there's collaboration between all the teams, then look at how that communication is going to happen internally so that externally to your customers, it's the most effective, it's streamlined, it's consistent. Even though you've got their trust and they've purchased from you the first time, that's something that needs to continue even after they become a customer. So that would be incorporated into your customer retention strategy. So some things to do is to talk to your customers, one-on-one. Obviously, the bigger your company gets, the more difficult that becomes. But at that point, you rely on the people who are interfacing with your customers to have those conversations. Give them some guidance on questions to ask. Where are they going to put the answers? And how is that information going to be shared internally so that you can use that information to serve your customers better? That's the ultimate goal. We want to keep happy customers, right? So look at how you can have that communication and engagement with them to collect that information to make their experience with your brand better. And after that, look at how that communication is actually going to happen. Are you going to create a group of beta testers that you rely on a regular basis to go to try new products or try new services or test out new products that you're getting ready to launch, or even ask them for feedback on what they want so your product development team can develop what it is that's going to be best for your customers? When you engage customers in your business and they are the raving fans, not just talking about you and referring other people to your business, if they're helping you develop the products, it's just making your company better and your products better. And they're more likely to stay with you longer as well. So keep that in mind. Some other things to do is like create, inner circles. It could be something like, a mastermind for your company. And you could even create that for different segments if you have different brands, or if it matters on your product or delivery by geography or by country. So just look at those types of things too. And also look at, there's obviously a plethora of different things that you can do, but the more that you can make it engaging and make it attractive to continue to do business with your company, the longer they're going to stay with you. So one thing that you can do is gamify it. I've always looked at this like internally, even from a sales perspective. When I was managing an inside sales team, we looked at our jobs as being fun. So I looked at how can we gamify this? How can we create fun competition between the team members to help them continue to reach their goals, but then also help those who are struggling a little bit have more fun and hopefully help them, and everybody helps elevate the team together so that we all win. So one way that you can do that too is through your customers, and you can do that through referrals. If you refer a customer to us and they purchase, which you've probably seen that type of deal before as well, then maybe that person gets a 10% discount, and with each referral they get 10% more discount on future purchases. So if you're providing that type of value and incentive to them to continue doing business with you, then they're going to talk to more people because they want a deeper discount. So look at different ways like that you can gamify it that would make it interesting to them and keep them wanting to come back and doing business with you. And then also you can look at, some different things that you want to do is just how can you keep the conversations going? That is important, again, because once they do business with you and they say, okay, here, I've purchased it, or even if it's a monthly referring fee, you don't want that to stop once you're collecting their money. You want that process to continue. So it's important to create that strategy and make sure that you are implementing something that the teams collaborating together are implementing, they're happy with, and testing and making sure that you're reaching out to the customers and you're fulfilling what it is that they need so that they're continuing to do business with you. So like I had mentioned, I will create a real quick document that kind of walks through the customer retention rate and how you can calculate that, because it's important that if you're newer in your business, it's going to be more difficult because you don't have customers and you need a starting number of customers, and then a calculation end customers for a particular month or for a particular quarter. And in order to do that calculation, you need to have those numbers. So if you're new in your business, that's not going to be helpful to you or important to you right now, but it definitely will be moving forward. So even if you're new, you'll want to come back and click that link so that you can access that document as well and just monitor that. It's important to keep tabs on what that retention number is so that if it's low, you can look at you can kind of dig deeper and analyze why that number's low or why it starts to decrease. And I'll give examples in there too. The couple of examples that I had created on my board but couldn't show you because it just wasn't presenting well. One of them was a 95% retention rate and another one was a 70% retention rate. So when you look at the numbers between that, then you can start to identify the numbers and where there's something that's kind of going awry. And when you know what that number is, then you're able to dig deeper and find out what the reason is. If you're having more customers leave you than you're acquiring, then there's something going on that you need to identify and understand. Is there, a gap in your internal process or teams not working together? Is there something wrong with the checkout process? If it's a e-commerce site that, they don't need to talk to a salesperson, but maybe there's something wrong with the basket. There's a high abandon rate. Or it could be something internal with your team and just the distribution or the delivery of those products if it's a hard good type product. So you always want to keep tabs of that and monitor it on a consistent basis so that you can quickly identify what's happening in your business and make sure that if it is starting to decrease, that you can quickly reverse that trend and get it on the incline again. So that is step number 6 in the 6-step process of creating content for the customer journey. And as I said, with retention, it's all about just continuing the conversation, continuing the engagement, and continue giving them a reason to continue doing business with you so that you can become more profitable and you can continue to grow your business. So I'll create that document. If you want to come back and click the link later today, I will have that available to you. I apologize for not having that available now. So I will get that out there. Sorry about that. Hey, Xenia, thank you so much for joining me. Oh, and fun will now commence. Hey, thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys joining me today and showing up. Thank you. I appreciate you supporting me. So hopefully this was helpful. And I will, get that out there. If you have questions, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to help. Next week, because this is the end of this 6-week series, next week I'm going to do a session on Canva, because I talk about this constantly, whether it's during the live sessions, in my videos, on my podcast, just in conversations. I use Canva for so many different things, including my marketing efforts, my YouTube channel, my thumbnails, my pretty much everything. So because I use it so much, there's no affiliate or anything like that. It's just a program that I find extremely useful and something that I think other people, especially if you're starting out, looking for free tools that are going to help you be more efficient and just help you in your business and be very professional in your appearance and the outputs that you have. It's a great tool to use. So that's the reason why I'm going to focus on that next week. So I had mentioned earlier, I'm going to be using StreamYard next week. So I'm assuming I'll be able to pull things up on my screen, which will make it super easy. Fingers crossed that works, because it'll be my first time. So hopefully it will, and I won't have that first experience like I did here. So yeah, that's it. That's what I'm going to do next week. If you haven't subscribed, please do so now. Those of you who have, thank you so much. And thank you so much for joining me again today. I appreciate you being here. And don't forget to hit that bell notification so that you get notified when I go live or new videos are uploaded. Thank you so much again for being here. And until next time, I'm Vicki O'Neill. Make today great.